All right, thanks, guys. The Yankees take on the Blue Jays, 3:07 Eastern first pitch in Toronto. The Yankees are minus 160, totals 10.5. We did see a 30-cent fade of the Yankees in the early wagering here. We also saw movement downward on the total. The Yankees open $1.90 down to 160, total open 11 down to 10.5. 71% are leaning New York, 68% shaded toward the over. Right now, Toronto's plus 150 on the money line. The Yankees minus $1.15 on the run line. We have Chad Green for the Yankees, Jake Waguespack for the Blue Jays. Waguespack comes into this game with a 4.00 ERA and a 1.31 WHIP. He also has 10 walks in 36 innings pitched. Chad Green on the other side for the Yankees, 59 strikeouts in just 45 innings pitched. The Yankees are tied for the best record in the American League with the Indians, Twins, and Houston. They are 76-40 overall for the year, 36 games over 500. The Yankees are also first in scoring, third in hits. Now the Blue Jays on the other side, completely different story. They rank 28th in hits on average per game, 28th in walks allowed per game. They're just 48-71 overall for the year. That's going to put them at 23 games under 500. They've also won just 21 out of 56 at home this year. Now, total-wise, the Yankees are 5-1 to the over in their last 6. They're also 11-1 to the over in their last dozen when traveling. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Yankees minus 160 and the over 10.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's Major League Baseball action. Happy Saturday. The weekend is here. We are smack dab in the middle of the weekend. Saturday morning, nothing better than a Saturday morning, especially when you are not working. But if you are working, hey, we still love you. Grind on and make that cash, man. You got to do what you have to do. It's all about getting that paper. But anyway, before we go ahead and move on, just got to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily premium plays on that website. There's plenty of different tiers and packages. Some packages you can get up to 4 picks per day. Now, these memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and move back into some more Saturday games. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Angels taking on the Red Sox, 4:05 Boston. The Red Sox are minus 135, totals 11.5. We saw a 25-cent fade of Boston in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. Boston opened $1.60 down to 135. Total open 12 down to 11.5. 70% are leaning Red Sox, 76% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Angels are plus 125 on the money line. The Red Sox plus $1.45 on the run line. We have Andrew Heaney for the Angels, Rick Porcello for the Red Sox. Porcello's 10-8 on the year, 104 strikeouts in just 128 innings. Heaney on the other side for the Angels, just 1-3 on the year, 5.09 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. The Red Sox are third in scoring on average per game, first in hits, winners in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They are also, I can't read my handwriting here. Oh, they're winning 62% of their games, taking on teams scoring. Damn, man. Let's try that again, guys. Boston is winning 62% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 4.2 runs per contest. There we go. A little pat on the back. Other side, LA, winners in just 15 out of 40 as the official road underdog. They're also winning just 39% of their games at the current market price. Now, total-wise, the Angels are 6-2 to the under in their last 8, taking on American League opponents. Give me the Red Sox minus 135 and the under 11.5 in that game. Next matchup, Phillies, Giants, 405 San Francisco. Pretty much a coin flip in this one. Both teams minus 105, totals at 8.5. We haven't seen a whole lot of movement on the total, although we did see a 10-cent fade of the Giants in the early wagering. They actually opened up as the favorite in this one. So once again, the Giants open $1.15 down to 105, totals 8.5. 55% are leaning Giants, 66% shaded toward the over. The Phils have Vinny Velasquez on the bump here today. The Giants have Jeff Samardzija. Samardzija's just 8-9 on the year. Meanwhile, on the other side, Vinny Velasquez, very versatile, not only on the bump, but in the outfield, throwing guys out at the plate, working the count. But Vinny Velasquez does have 88 strikeouts in just 78 innings pitched this year. The Phillies are 9th in offensive walks on average per game. They're also 30 and 26 against the spread away from home. And of course, when I refer to the spread, I'm referring to the run line. The Phils just a half a game back in that second wild card spot in the National League, so they're still right in the hunt, right in the mix. The Giants on the other side, well, they're 4 games back for that second wild card spot. Losers in 5 out of their last 6 ball games. They also rank dead last in home scoring and 28th in home hits. Now, total-wise, the Giants are 5-1 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean Phillies minus 105 in the under 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Braves, Marlins, 6-10 Miami. The Braves are minus 210, totals 8.5. We saw a 15-cent fade of Atlanta in the early wagering, movement upward on the total. The Braves opened 225 down to 210. Total open 8 up to 8.5. 72% are leaning Braves, 71% shaded toward the under. Right now the Marlins are plus 180 on the money line. The Braves minus $1.25 on the run line. We have Mike Soroka for the Braves, Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins. Alcantara is just 4-10 with a 4.50 ERA and a 1.47 WHIP. Mike Soroka on the other side for the Braves, 10-2 on the year, 2.45 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. He also has 97 strikeouts in 121 innings. The Marlins are 43-72 overall for the year, last in the National League East. They have the worst record in the NL as well. The Braves on the other side, completely different story. First in the NL East, 20 games over 500, 69-49 for the year, 6th in scoring. Now, total-wise, Miami 70% to the over in their last 10. The Braves 6-1 to the over in their last 7. I'm going to lean Atlanta Braves minus 1.5 in the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Royals, Tigers, 6-10 Detroit. The Tigers are minus 120, totals 9.5. We saw a nickel fade of Detroit and movement downward on the total. The Tigers open $1.25 down to 120. Total open 10 down to 9.5. 58% are leaning Tigers, 57% shaded toward the under. Right now the Royals are plus 110 on the money line. Tigers plus 155 on the run line. We have Mike Montgomery for the Royals, Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers. Turnbull comes into this game with a 3.72 ERA and 95 strikeouts in just 101 innings. Mike Montgomery on the other side for the Royals, just 1-5 on the year, 6.02 ERA, 1.75 WHIP. The Royals are 41-76 overall for the year, 35 games under 500, winners in just 18 out of 59 when traveling. The Royals also ranked 28th in road scoring, 26th in road hits allowed. KC's just 5-9 taking on the Tigers this year. They're also just 17-38 as the official road underdog, and they're winning just 34% of their games played at the current market price. Now, total-wise, the Tigers are 14-6 to the under when Spencer Turnbull makes the start. I'm going to lean Detroit Tigers minus 120 in the under 9.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Astros, Orioles, 7:05 Baltimore. The Astros are minus 240, totals 11. Not a whole lot of movement on the money line. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see a little bit of movement downward on the total. Houston open and remains minus 240. Total open 11.5 down to 11 flat. 71% are leaning Astros, 54% shaded toward the under. Right now, Baltimore's plus 220 on the money line. Astros minus $1.50 on the run line. We have Aaron Sanchez for the Astros, Aaron Brooks for the O's. Brooks is just 0-2 with a 6.63 ERA and a 1.58 whip. Sanchez on the other side, well, he's 1-0 with the Houston Astros, 0.00 ERA, 0.33 whip. He has 6 strikeouts in 6 innings pitched with Houston. The Astros are tied for the best record in the American League. They are 76-40 overall for the year, 36 games over 500. They're also 33-25 away from home. The Astros have been winners in 5 out of their last 6 when traveling. They're also 5-0 in their last 5 at any location. Nice little 5-game winning streak. They also rank first in striking batters out on average per game. Now, Baltimore on the other side, they have the second worst record in Major League Baseball, 38-77 overall for the year, nearly 40 games under 500. They also rank dead last in runs allowed. Now, total-wise, Baltimore is 9-0 to the under in their last 9 taking on the Astros. I'm going to lean Houston -1.5 and the under 11 runs in that game. Next matchup, Oakland taking on the Chicago White Sox, and that is going to be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Oakland's -155, totals 9.5. Saw a nickel fade of Oakland and movement downward on the total. The A's open 160 down to 155. Total open 10 down to 9.5. 68% are leaning Oakland, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now the White Sox are plus 145 on the money line. Oakland minus $1.10 on the run line. We have Tanner Roark for Oakland, Ronaldo Lopez for Chicago. Lopez is just 6-9 with a 5.41 ERA and a 1.48 whip. Tanner Roark on the other side for the A's, 108 strikeouts and just 110 innings pitched. The White Sox are 51-63 overall for the year, 12 games under 500. They've also won just 27 out of 56 at home this year. They rank 28th in scoring, 25th in walks allowed. Now the A's on the other side, just a half a game back in that second wildcard spot in the American League. They are 16 games over 500 at 66-50 overall for the year. They're also 34-22 against the spread away from home. Oakland's 8-3 in their last 11, 8th in runs allowed, 6th in road scoring. When it comes to the total, Oakland's 44-34 to the over, taking on teams allowing more than 4.2 runs per contest. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Athletics -155 and the over 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Indians, Twins, 7-10 Minnesota. The Twins are -140, totals at 10. Not a whole lot of movement on the money line in this one. Once again, pretty good two-way action there. We did see a little bit of movement upward on the total in this one. Minnesota open and remains -140. Total open 9.5 up to 10. 57% are leaning Twins. 73% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Cleveland Indians are plus 130 on the money line. The Twins are plus 125 on the run line. We have Adam Plutko for Cleveland, Jake Odorizzi for Minnesota. Odorizzi's 12-5 with a 3.61 ERA and a 1.19 whip. He also has 120 strikeouts on the year. Meanwhile, Plutko on the other side for Cleveland comes into this game with a 4.55 ERA. Minnesota's tied with Cleveland for first place in the AL Central. They're 70-46 overall for the year, 35-25 at home. The Twins are also second in scoring on average per game, second in hits. They're winning 65% of their games as the official Vegas favorite. They're also 15-7 straight up when Odorizzi makes the start. The Indians on the other side, 38% as the road dog, 42% at the current market price. They're 20th in scoring on average per game, 23rd in hits on average per game. When it comes to the total, Cleveland is 6-1 to the under in their last 7. I'm going to lean Minnesota -140 and the under 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rangers, Brewers, 7-10 Milwaukee. No line currently posted for this game. We have Pedro Payano for the Rangers, Adrian Hauser for the Brewers. Hauser has 65 strikeouts and just 63 innings pitched. Payano comes into this game with a 1.53 whip. He also has 9 walks and just 15 innings pitched. The Brewers are 4th in offensive walks, 9th in striking batters out. They are 34-24 at home, 4-1 in their last 5 at home, and they rank 1st in home offensive walks. They're also 3rd in striking batters out in Milwaukee. Now the Rangers on the other side, they rank dead last in striking out. They are struggling making contact. They're also 26th in hits allowed, losers in 5 out of their last 6 when traveling. They are just 23-35 away from home this year. So although we have no line for this game, I'm going to lean Milwaukee, winning this one outright for some money line cash. Next game, Washington taking on the Mets. 7:10 Eastern first pitch in Flushing, Queens. The Mets are minus 110, total 7.5. We saw a 15-cent fade of the Mets at home here, despite being red hot. The Mets opened $1.25 down to 110. Total opening remains at 7.5. 63% of the consensus is leaning toward the Mets. 70% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Nats are minus 102 on the money line. The Mets plus $1.80 on the run line. We have Patrick Corbin for the Nats, Noah Syndergaard for the Mets. Syndergaard's 8-5 with a 3.96 ERA. He also has 140 strikeouts and just 141 innings pitched. The Mets are a perfect 7-0 in their last 7. Nice little win streak for him there. They're also 14-1 in their last 15 ball games. They're 33-20 at Citi Field. They're also 9th in runs allowed at home and 5th in striking batters out at home. New York is 13-9 when Syndergaard makes the start. They're also 9-5 taking on the Nats. Now, should this line flip and the Mets end up being the underdog at home here, just keep in mind they're winning 60% of their games as the official home underdog as well. Now, the Nats on the other side, well, they're not faring too well as the underdog, and right now they are the dog in this one, and they've won just 18 out of 42 as the official Vegas underdog. They're also winning just 41% of their games at the current market price. They're 0-5 in their last 5 taking on the Mets, 21st in hits on average per game. Now, total-wise, the Nats are 5-1 to the over in their last 6 taking on New York. I'm going to lean Mets minus 110 and the over 7.5 runs in that game.